welcome to the final episode of Series 3. The very first thing that I want to illustrate here is the uniqueness of the path that we all take. The uniqueness of everything is a governance which must be underpinned by some law of physics. I suspect it has something to do with uncertainty, and the principle of uncertainty being that you cannot have the same thing happen twice. There has to be an element of uncertainty in everything that happens and everything that's formed to enable those happenings and those formations to maintain a unique quality of their own. Your world line is no exception, nor is mine. And this illustration really gives a kind of a grammatical, not a grammatical, what's the word I'm looking for? Diagrammatical interpretation of the pathway that we tread. That whole essence of the unexpected plays a big part in all our world lines, and how we deal with that is very personal to us. Now, investigation of the quantum mechanical field in the metaphysical sense is going to reveal some interesting things to you, I can assure you, as you go along with your own research in your own time. But one of the things that's bound to crop up is the similarity of experiences that people tend to share. A few of those things I'm going to cover today, just to bring them into the picture in preparation for further series where we go into more depth about the things that people experience and how we can better deal with them. Now, were I to put a waveform in here, this would then represent the transition between wave and particle format. The particle format of you, your body, your personas, your experiences as a conscious being in particle format travelling this path. We collapse into particle reality from the waveform. So as far as chicken and egg is concerned, the wave comes first. Definitely the chicken is the wave, and chicken comes first and produces the egg, produces the particle format. Is it just a case of oscillation of our quarks and our electrons and the neutrinos that are flooding through us? Is the oscillation process causing us to change, to transform from one moment to the next into a different version of this particle reality?
Let's represent singularity. There's a kind of a wormhole, really. A wormhole to the inner self that everybody has and everything has. Every item of the quantum world has its own singularity. I don't think it's confined to black holes, that concept.
There is such a thing as entanglement. It's subject to a lot of investigations. It's proving to have merit in various areas, from quantum computing right through to neurobiology. Entanglement as a metaphysical experience definitely happens to people. And I know this because we can readily collaborate with other people's experiences who have also been through similar kinds of situations on their world lines too. In general terms, nature seems to prefer some kind of disorder in there amongst the order. And to be able to create that beauty of nature, of course, there has to be asymmetry.
Now we've got the unitarity to consider as well. The oneness of everything that we all share. This strange reality that we skip across and through, in between each other and around each other. Do we exist to each other when we're not in our own reality? How do we connect across this multiversal brain? Interesting question. But I think that the fair representation for the unitarity really is as some kind of atomic structure. um, we have a communication system which we share.
And it's not all verbal.
A lot of the communication that we have with each other and with other species is very far from verbal. There are plenty of other signs as to what we mean, who we are to each other, and the way we do things, although we're unique as singularities, seems to be very generic in a lot of respects.
Now, the waveform that I've represented here could be interpreted as the superpositioned waveform, according to the physics that has recently come to the fore. Superposition is the existence of something in more than one phase or state, or more than one dimension. It's the whole basis of Schrodinger's cat, essentially. The cat is alive and dead at the same time because it is in superposition. It is in both states at once. So we are not definitively in one position or another. We have options as we go along. We also have a coordinate system to consider. Now, this puts us in an interesting position, because if we're looking at the coordinates of our position in a multiversal context, we have coordinates that exist on a kind of an axis, if you like. We have our position in space-time, and then around that we have this gyroscope of possibilities, options, probability.
So now we come to parity. And parity really is our gyroscopic position in space-time, if you like. So I guess parity looks kind of like this. Wherever we occupy a position as a singularity in space-time, across the multiverse, the universe, wherever, 3D, 5D, doesn't matter, we occupy a kind of a, what do they call it? An OS.
An Ordnance Survey coordinate.
On the map of our world line. And world lines are obviously very important to me right now, as any of you who've investigated me on LinkedIn will know.
Let's take synchronicity as some kind of evidence that the universe is in some way personal to us. We have a personal relationship with the universe that allows for synchronicity to occur, events beyond our control that are personal to us. The option for synchronicity to occur may well be said to be a ripple effect through the multiverse, through the options of multiversal context that arrive at something meaningful to us within this particular brain that we are occupying at this particular moment in time. That doesn't mean to say that we're not going to be occupying a different brain at a different moment in time. Because the whole metaversal construct does allow for degrees of freedom that generally we don't consider. We find ourselves very constrained by the demands of our relationships and the environments and circumstances that surround us, when in actual fact we are freer than we consider ourselves to be, in
carving our own world line in a way that works for us.
So finally then we come to polarity. And polarity is a bit of a difficult one to illustrate, really, across the dimensional framework. And the polarity, of course, of electrons and positrons, which are very important to us and have an incredible bearing, I believe, on the way we live our lives and what we do and how we do it. You're a wonderful bird, aren't you, mate? Hey? Yes, yeah. You're a good boy. Yeah. Yeah, polarity. One to ponder upon.
So I hope you've enjoyed this conclusion to Series 3, and that you'll be around for later videos which go much more into the personal constructs of how we deal with our lives, bringing quantum mechanics into the equation and being able to work with it, run with it, live with it, and enjoy what we're doing as a result. So stay around, and thank you very much for being here. Love you loads. See you soon. Take care. Bye.